Congratulations, you've made it to episode 4 of Be Fucking Authentic. If you missed the previous episodes, please check them out after this one. And if you haven't already, press that subscribe button and join me every Monday morning for a dose of realness. Remember, the more authentic you are, the happier your life will be. Now, I know for a lot of you, this word alone probably makes you cringe a little bit. Vulnerability. Opening up your true, unshielded self to the world. Letting people see your fears and insecurities. I get it. We've been culturally conditioned to avoid vulnerability at all costs. From a young age, we learn to put on brave faces. We learn to suck it up, and we learn to never let them see us sweat. Showing vulnerability is perceived as a sign of weakness. Here's a quote I heard the other day. To share your weakness is to make yourself vulnerable. To make yourself vulnerable is to show your strength. Chris Jamie. But here's the hard truth, my friends. Without vulnerability, there is no authenticity. Period. You cannot strip away the mask and live as your truest self without being vulnerable. Think about it. What does it actually mean to be vulnerable? It's about having the courage to peel back the layers and be seen, flaws and all. It's about opening yourself up to judgment, hurt, and rejection in the name of being real. To live authentically is to constantly put yourself out there, to expose your true self to the world, knowing that you might get criticized or shamed for it. It's incredibly scary, but it's also incredibly powerful. Because here's what most of us get wrong about vulnerability. We think it makes us weak and helpless, but the reality is that owning your vulnerability is one of the bravest things you can do. When you have the courage to be real and vulnerable, despite society's messages that you shouldn't, you become unfuckawithable. You stop seeking validation from others because you know your truth belongs to you alone. I'll give you an example from my early days as the founder and executive director of a major fashion-based nonprofit organization. In those beginning stages, my main job was to procure sponsors and partners to get this nonprofit off the ground. And I have to admit, I really had no clue what I was doing at first. I remember catering my pitches and my persona to whatever I thought these companies wanted to hear, rather than just leading with my true authentic vision. I'd shapeshift a little bit for each potential sponsor, twisting the mission to align with their values instead of staying true to mine. So much so that I often found myself being inauthentic to the prospect, to the organization's mission, and most importantly, to my own integrity as a leader. I was so desperate to make it all work that I was willing to contort myself into whatever shape was needed. But it didn't take me that long to realize that approach was completely misguided and unsustainable. If I wanted this organization I had founded to truly thrive, I had to lead from a place of radical authenticity every single step of the way. My passion, my values, my full vision for impacting the fashion world, that was unwavering. That was the unwavering core that had to guide every action and decision I made as a leader. Trying to be all the things to all the people was a recipe for burnout and losing credibility fast. So I stopped chasing after every random opportunity that came my way. Instead, I got clear on my hell yes criteria of what resonated deeply with the mission of the organization. From then on, my pitches led with radical transparency, and I gave prospective partners two choices: get on board with this amazing vision or politely pass. Some definitely opted out, which I was absolutely okay with. Because the ones who did join the movement, they were true partners who helped move the mission forward in making a huge impact. By refusing to dilute or alter my message based on what I thought people wanted to hear, I earned so much more respect and buy-in. My vulnerability and authenticity gave permission for others to show up in that same spirit too. Because let's face it, life is too damn short to show up as anything other than your full, radiant, messy self. The world needs more leaders with the courage to be real and authentic. That's how we create true change and impact. Here's a quote by Brené Brown. If you trade your authenticity for safety, you may experience the following: anxiety, depression, eating disorders, addiction, rage, blame, resentment, and inexplicable grief. So, how can you start being more vulnerable? I have a few ideas. Share a fear or an insecurity with someone you trust and watch how much closer it makes you feel to them. Or maybe next time you catch yourself code switching or altering how you show up, pause and ask, why? What am I so afraid of that might happen if I'm just me right now? Also, maybe pick an area of your life where you've been performing or putting on a fake facade and make it a point of being more real and more transparent going forward. Let people see behind the curtain a bit. Be an example of vulnerability. Whether it's on social media, at work, or with friends and family, share more about your inner world and your struggles. You'll give others permission to do the same. Now, don't get me wrong. This work is not easy. There will be times when you feel exposed and you'll want to crawl right back into your shell. When you get judged or misunderstood for being real, it will sting. This is all part of the process of shedding the identity prison you've been living in and finding your true free self. It takes a lot of courage, compassion, and resilience. But I promise you, it is 100% worth it. Because when you can strip away the mask and live as your whole, messy, beautiful self, that is true liberation. That's what being fucking authentic is all about. Your imperfections and struggles are not weaknesses, but powerful entry points into your humanity. By shining a light on them rather than hiding them away in shame, you reclaim your power. If there's one thing you take away from today's episode, let it be this. Vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but a profound strength. It's the key that unlocks your freedom to be your most authentic self in this world. So stop performing. Stop code switching between different versions of yourself. And stop trying to curate a flawless personal brand. All of that is exhausting and keeps you playing small. Instead, get radically real. Take off the mask. Let people see all of you. Watch how it frees you and gives you and others permission to take their armor off too. This is the work, my friends. This is how we create a world of people who are courageous and secure enough in themselves to be true forces of compassion and acceptance for all. And that brings us to the end of another powerful episode of Be Fucking Authentic. I hope this exploration of vulnerability has inspired you to start living with more emotional transparency and courage. If these words resonated deeply, then please subscribe so you never miss an insightful episode. And please share this with anyone that you think needs to hear this message. The more people embracing this message, the better. I also want to open the floor to all of you listening. Where in your life have you been holding yourself back or putting on a fake facade out of fear? In what situations or relationships could you start peeling away layers to show up more authentically? The comment section is a brave space to voice those realizations. Simply naming the areas where you felt inauthentic can be the first powerful step towards transformation. Your truth has the power to give others courage as well. So I'll leave you with this. Keep leaning into vulnerability. Keep shedding the need for perfection. Keep committing to bringing your entire, imperfect, magical self to every aspect of your life's journey. The world is craving more realness like yours. And until next time, this is Thomas McClure, challenging you to embrace yourself fully and without apology.